Francois Legault is the new premier of Quebec. Now, this is something that is certainly very significant. For the past couple of decades, it's always been the Parti Québécois or the Liberals that have run the province. And for the first time in a long time, it's somebody new that's doing it, the CAQ party. Now, a lot of people are very shocked about this. I'm really not. A lot of the mainstream media, particularly the CBC, is a bit dumbfounded about how this happened. I mean, I saw the Power and Politics segment that was done trying to figure out how this happened. Well, I mean, I'll break it down to you because common sense doesn't seem to be a part of the mainstream media for the most part. If you have a white nationalist ethno-state, as you would have with Quebec, it shouldn't be surprising that they have a white ethno-nationalist leader. Now, this is a trend that's been going on. We recently saw the election of Doug Ford. And frankly, we're probably going to see more of that, particularly on the other side of the country. I mean, very soon, there's probably going to be some kind of white nationalist in charge of Alberta, which is actually not all that uncommon there. But these people, it's very strange how they don't seem to get it. Like, how could this happen? We're going to stand up to it. If you support Quebec as an identity, yeah, you're supporting a white nationalist identity. You're going to get a white nationalist leader. You're going to get white nationalist policies. This is pretty obvious. I mean, this is just common sense at this point. I mean, he does things like we're going to ban religious wear inside of public servants. So public servants aren't allowed to wear them. And I'm assuming that he's not meaning wearing a cross around your neck. He means wearing a headscarf or a hijab or something like that. This is aimed directly at Muslims. I mean, frankly, this kind of headwear, while I wouldn't agree with the wearing of the headwear, it doesn't actually interfere with the job. I mean, that's pretty common sense. I mean, a useless bureaucrat sitting behind a counter, whether or not they have something on their head, isn't going to make them work any faster or any slower or any more effectively. This is purely just a populist move designed to be geared toward the hatred and the racism that is a natural product of a place like Quebec, which is based on a white nationalist identity. This really shouldn't be very hard to figure out. Of course, this guy is a xenophobe. He should be forced out of power, etc. Of course. But to question how he got into power really shouldn't be surprising whatsoever. Of course, this is the kind of thing that this kind of system is going to produce. It's kind of the same thing in Ontario when Doug Ford got elected. Essentially, it was a massive rejection of the Liberal Party. But it wasn't just that. I mean, the Liberal Party screwed up a lot of things in Ontario, and they certainly do deserve to be rejected to a very large degree because of what they did. But there was such a dramatic rightward shift. And now you can understand why the elites would choose to do that. Because Doug Ford is essentially just going to hand over tax breaks and privatize everything so that his rich buddies can make all of the money that they can. That's obvious. That's basic capitalism. But when the lower level people, the middle class and the working class, are doing this, are voting for these kinds of things, you know it's out of hatred because they're shooting themselves in the foot. It's not because they think anything's going to be better for them. They just want to get rid of things that they don't like Muslims and liberals. And quite frankly, a lot of the really derogatory comments that were thrown at the former Liberal Premier Kathleen Wynne for being a lesbian. I mean, don't even try to deny it. I mean, you just go on Facebook, you see any kind of social media, and you see the hatred thrown at her for being a lesbian, which is completely irrelevant. She had plenty of bad policies that are there to criticize, but then to scream about cultural Marxism, how she's a lesbian, is stupid. And to not expect the same thing from Quebec is nonsense. The place was founded as a white nationalist settler colonial state. So you're going to get that kind of mentality from people that are eventually going to elect that kind of thing. That's part of the problem of a Marxist struggle, is trying to get past certain false consciousnesses like that. I recommend looking at the Marxist conception of false consciousness. It's actually somewhat related to the previous video I did on alienation in modern capitalist society, but further reading is highly recommended. So, to those sitting there wondering how this happened, that really should be pretty obvious. Now, the way forward is to what do we do about this guy? And that's a very big question that's still going to be found out over the next 4 years. How much damage is this guy going to do before he's removed from office? And that, I leave up to you.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.